how did I become an expert and focused on mold illness? Well, like a lot of practitioners, I became involved because I got mold illness. So I've had two very, very major mold exposures. One came from saline breast implants. I got saline breast implants in 1994. And at that time, they were considered to be safe. You know, this was just after Dow there'd been a lot of lawsuits over the silicone breast implants making people sick. So now we had these safe versions, and I thought, what a great idea, you know, that would be fun. So I got these breast implants, and at that time, they did not tell me that every 8 to 10 years you should have them exchanged. You should not leave them in longer than that. So I'm going about my merry way, and 22 years later, I start to get very ill, and it came on suddenly. I suddenly ballooned in my weight. Like it was unbelievable. I was going to a conference, and I bought this awesome blue dress to wear at the conference, and I felt so good, felt like $1 million in it. And then by the time I got there and a couple days went by and I was gonna pull it out and wear it, I felt like a sausage in it. My body was so swollen. And then at the same time, I started getting tired. And as the time went on, I developed brain fog. I couldn't find my words. I started developing neurological symptoms. But I think by far the biggest clue for me was the fatigue, just debilitating fatigue. And if I would try to go exercise, I'd be on the couch. I couldn't, handle it. So this mimics a lot of other kinds of conditions. I thought I had Lyme disease. Like when I looked at all my symptoms, I was very convinced that I had Lyme disease. So being a naturopath, right, I'm treating myself. I'm taking all kinds of stuff. Thank God I did, because many people who have going on what I had going on in those breast implants end up in wheelchairs, and some don't even survive. So I feel very, very blessed that I was able to take care of myself. But here I'm going along. It took me almost 3 years to realize it was the breast implants. So I happened to see a video of an interview a plastic surgeon was doing. And this plastic surgeon said, I've never pulled out saline implants more than 10 years old that didn't have some level of mold in them. Bingo, that was my answer. I said, oh my gosh. At that time, mine were 22 years old. And I said, oh, this has to be it. So I made the appointment for the surgery. If you're going to do this yourself, you've got to get somebody that knows what they're doing. There's a very special procedure you have to follow when you remove breast implants, or you can add even more of that toxicity into the body. So anything foreign that you put in your body will encapsulate with tissue. And so there's a procedure called N-block, E-N-B-L-O-C, where when they go in to remove the breast implant, they remove that entire capsule. They try not to disturb the implant at all. They just remove the whole capsule and go. So I had them out, and when I got them, because they send you home with them if you want them, oh my gosh, you guys, they look disgusting. They look like our polluted Chattahoochee River. They're supposed to be clear. So years later, I was seeing a sinus specialist, a doctor who specializes in fungal sinusitis, because of course the mold and mycotoxins, like everything grows throughout your body, and I was having trouble there. And I asked him, how in the heck does this happen with implants? And he said, with implants, the implant itself is flat. It's inserted into the body. And then there's a bowl of saline solution in the room, and they fill the implant with a tube from that. So he said, if there was mold in the building, in the HVAC, whatever, little spores get in that water and then it sits in your body. It's warm, it's dark, it's the perfect environment for it to grow over time. So that was my first exposure. Now, when I had those implants out, even after a major surgery like that, I felt a big relief. I felt a lot better. One thing that people need to understand about breast implants too is that even though they may be saline, the covering is silicone. And so those toxins degrade over time as well. That has nothing to do with mold, but that's an additional toxic load to your body. And of course, the more different types of toxins you have in your body, the less able you are to, function through all that. So once I had those implants out, I had to learn how to pull the mold toxins out. My surgeon at the time knew a lot, but my body is very sensitive. So the antifungal drugs that were given to me, I really couldn't tolerate them. They made me very sick. So I had to look for all the natural ways to do it. And I did that. And it takes some time to heal. You use binders to join with the mold toxins that are in your body and excrete them. You use a lot of antioxidants. So you have to support your immune system, support your body with flooding with good nutrition and antioxidants, and then slowly but surely pull those toxins out. Now, I came along very, very nicely from the mold in the breast implants. I healed what I consider to be pretty quickly. Within a year, I was feeling fantastic. Then I got this great idea. I needed to move, and I was renting to, I didn't plan on staying in the area, so I wanted to find a place to rent, and I found this cute little cottage. Oh my gosh, I fell in love with it. And I asked the landlord, have you ever had a mold problem here? Because I'm very sensitive to mold. No, we've never had a mold problem. Well, see, people don't understand, they don't know. So anyway, I moved in and everything was great for a few months. Then we had a super wet spring. Now pay attention, because these are factors that can be clues in your own scenario. So there was no water leak in the house, nothing like that, but the super rainy season caused more water to gather in the crawl space. Now simultaneously, so this house, the HVAC was in the crawl space, and when the guy came to change the filter, he must have accidentally hit one of the runs of ductwork, and it separated and kind of fell down. So unbeknownst to me, the air from the crawl space was actually just coming right through the HVAC system right into the cottage. And again, I started feeling bad. I started feeling really tired. It's so weird the way mold illness works, because your tendency is to chalk it up to other things. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's my work schedule. Oh, it's that. Oh, I'm stressed out about so-and-so. And it's very difficult to kind of face the music and take a look and see, So anyway, finally, I called in somebody to do an air quality check. And the Aspergillus and Penicillium molds, way off the chart. They were easily 10 times what was in the outdoor air. That's what an air sample test will do. They'll pull an outdoor air sample and then pull a few indoor air samples and compare the two. It's not a great way to test, but it gives you an idea, right? And so I knew, oh, this Aspergillus and Penicillium is off the chart. That mold exposure was actually a lot harder for me to recover from than the breast implant, and I think it's because it was my second time. That's my theory on it. I was already compromised once by the stuff. Now I got another big hit. So I want to encourage you, because I feel really good now, and I'm back to almost 100% normal. This happened 5 years ago, which seems like a really long time. But when you've had a very, very bad mold exposure, it can take some time to fully recover from it. And when I say fully, I mean 100%, like it never happened. Also, unfortunately, my age, it was continuing to rise. And, I'm 69 now. So in my mid 60s and late 60s, I just didn't have the same healing power that I had, earlier when I was younger with the breast implant thing. So all that to say, that's how, thank goodness, I got really into studying about mold. My hat is off to Dr. Richie Shoemaker. If you guys have not looked him up, look him up. He was the first doctor to call attention to and identify that mold could cause illness. Relatively speaking, this is a fairly new concept, right? And Shoemaker did lots and lots of research into how do you help somebody. So if you look him up, you'll see there's like a pyramid that you do. You take the first step, and for certain numbers of people, that's going to 100% handle it. If it doesn't, you go to the second step, you go to the third step. So the first step, no matter what, you have to get out of the moldy environment. So you have to either remediate where you are or move out. I immediately moved out, started sleeping in my office. Thank God I had an office to sleep in, so I didn't have to worry about being in the mold. And then when I did find a new place to move to, mold will permeate some of your belongings. So my upholstered furniture, my blankets, my mattress, my winter coats, my sweaters, my towels, things like that really have some substance. Mold can impregnate, and you can just bring it right with you to your new place. Paper is the worst. I threw away literally thousands of dollars worth of books, professional books that, it's not worth your health. So I had a huge truck come, load everything up, cart it off. I told them, I said, this is mold contaminated. Don't try to donate this stuff. This needs to actually be destroyed. So it's a big deal when you have a bad mold exposure in your home, because yes, you have to heal your body, but you also have to create an environment. Now, had I not been a renter, then what I would have had to do was remediate the situation. It can be done. You can remediate mold. You have to work with somebody that knows what they're doing, and then you have to have testing after the remediation is done to be sure that the entire thing is handled. And my advice is test it again in 6 months and in 12 months to be really sure. I've had so many clients that have done a full remediation, or what they thought was a full remediation, but some little aspect wasn't quite fully handled, and over time they developed a mold problem in the house again. So be sure that you test, after remediation is done, and work with somebody that knows what they're doing. Look at reviews, talk to practitioners who have had experience in the area, and get names of people that have been tested and they're going to do a good job. So get out of the mold, number one.